You've probably heard the name Ragnar Lothbrok, right? Maybe from the TV show, maybe from whispered legends. But who was the real man behind the myth? Was he even real? Today we're sailing back in time, deep into the misty fjords of the 9th century to uncover the story of the Viking who didn't just raid, he reshaped the world. So, let's get one thing straight. The historical record on Ragnar is, well, it's a bit like a Viking longship emerging from a thick fog. We see the shape, we feel its power, but the details are blurry. He's part history, part legend, a figure woven into the great Norse sagas. But the stories they tell? They paint a picture of a man who was more than just a brute with an axe. He was a visionary, a strategist, and a master of psychological warfare. Ragnar wasn't born a king. He was a farmer, a local chieftain. But he had a burning ambition that couldn't be contained by a plot of land. While other Vikings were content with hit-and-run raids on small coastal monasteries, Ragnar looked west. He saw something no one else did, a land ripe for the taking, a kingdom called England. His first legendary raid, the one that put him on the map, was on the monastery of Lindisfarne in 793 AD. This wasn't just a raid for gold, it was a statement. The Vikings had arrived, and they were not just pirates, they were a force of nature. Picture this, serene monks praying in their stone abbey, and then out of the sea mist come the dragon-headed longships. The screams, the clash of steel on stone. It was a shockwave that echoed across Christian Europe. They called them heathens, demons sent by God as punishment. But for Ragnar, it was just the beginning. What made Ragnar different was his mind. He was a brilliant tactician. He didn't just charge in. He studied his enemies. He learned their weaknesses. He understood the power of fear. One of his most famous feats was the siege of Paris in 845 AD. He didn't try to smash through the city's massive walls. No. He sailed his fleet of over 100 longships right up the River Seine, effectively holding the heart of Frankish power hostage. The king, Charles the Bald, was terrified. He wasn't just facing an army, he was facing a legend. Ragnar didn't demand the city. Instead, he demanded a colossal ransom, 7,000 pounds of silver. An astronomical sum, and he got it. He sailed away, not with a conquered city in ruins, but with immense wealth and a reputation that made kings tremble. He had proven that even the most powerful kingdoms could be brought to their knees, not just by force, but by audacity. But like all great sagas, Ragnar's story has a tragic, brutal end. As he grew older, his ambition didn't fade. He launched one last ill-fated raid on England, this time against King Ælla of Northumbria. Legend says his ships were wrecked in a storm. Leaving him outnumbered and outmaneuvered, he was captured. King Ælla, wanting to make an example of this great Viking terror, decided on a horrific death. He threw Ragnar into a pit of venomous snakes. And here, in his final moments, Ragnar supposedly delivered his masterstroke. As the snakes bit into him, he didn't scream or beg. He laughed. He taunted Ælla, boasting of his life and, most importantly, proclaiming his famous last words, "How the little pigs will grunt when they hear how the old boar has suffered." The little pigs were his sons, Bjorn Ironside, Ivar the Boneless, Ubba, Sigurd, Snake in the Eye. This wasn't a cry of defeat, it was a prophecy, a threat, and his sons heard it. When news of their father's death reached them, they didn't just seek revenge. They assembled the great heathen army, the largest Viking force ever seen. They didn't just raid England. They invaded it, they conquered it, and they exacted a terrible vengeance on King Ælla, performing the Blood Eagle on him. Ragnar's death wasn't an end. It was the spark that ignited a firestorm, leading to decades of Viking rule in England. So was Ragnar Lothbrok a real man? A composite of several heroes? A complete fabrication? We may never know for sure, but it almost doesn't matter. The legend of Ragnar, the farmer who became a king-defying terror, the strategist who outsmarted empires, and the dying boar whose final grunt unleashed a legion of vengeful sons, is one of the most powerful stories ever told. It's a testament to the idea that one person's audacity and vision can, quite literally, change the course of history.